You've just joined an Agile Release Train or an Agile program, or you've been asked to launch or lead an Agile Release Train in your organization. Fantastic. You're excited and truthfully probably a bit nervous too. Well, that's actually good because you should be nervous. There's actually a lot that can go wrong. Luckily for you, if you watch this video till the end, you can dramatically increase your chances of success. Why? Because in this video, we're going to talk about the 3 must-haves for a successful Agile Release Train launch. So let's get started. Now, number 1, the first must-have that we must have in place is we must have a solid foundation. So the question you may say is, that's very great. That's all very nice and obvious, Ahmed. But what do I actually mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that firstly, one of the things that I'm seeing is becoming a big problem in scaling Agile is the lack of having continuous integration in place or an understanding or capability to bring that in. What do I mean by that? We've got a bunch of developers that are sitting in a team. There may be 3, 4, 5, whatever. Okay, and now as they're all working on their individual code bases, they need an ability to be able to bring all of those separate pieces, all of those different strands of work together so that they have a coherent whole which is tested and works together seamlessly. We need to be able to do that not just for one team, but n number of teams across the Agile Release Train. That model is frequently missing, and that is a big problem. Okay, so tip number 2. We must have an ability to be able to deploy and release on a regular basis as well. Similar to continuous integration, but not quite the same. It's the next step, if you like, in the release of value that needs to take place, right? We deploy the software, and then we need to be able to consume the software, right? How do we do that? In an organization, a large organization, we need to be able to have operational, what we call operational readiness or business readiness. We've got our software, which we actually now deploy into the field. We have our agents or whoever is going to be using that. We have our end customers. They need to be able to use that. How do they use that? Do they know how to use that? Have we packaged that up correctly? Have the individuals that are going to be using that have got the necessary training, etc. Whether those are back office employees, front office employees, or indeed even customers. We need to be operationally and business ready to be able to actually deploy all of this functionality as well. So you may be asking is that, well, these seem fairly straightforward and fairly foundational. Why are so many Agile Release Trains missing this? Well, one of the reasons that I'm seeing is that there is a bit of an obsession for demonstrating direct customer value, and sometimes in the absence of being able to do that, organizations may frequently skip out on implementing these foundations. So excuse me. So what happens is they may think that they can bypass this and kind of get away with it, but I promise you it's going to end up costing you. You will either pay for it initially up front, doing it well, creating that solid foundation upon which all your teams can now start to build and scale up, and they can have a clear field for delivery. Or you're going to pay through the inefficiencies of having a weak foundation upon which you have all these different teams building their code. You're going to pay for it in the form of slow delivery, in terms of high defect rates, in terms of unmaintainable code base. So I suggest this is one of the key things that we want to have in place. Let's move on to our number 2 must-have. Yes, you heard it. Quality. Quality is a number 2, one of the most important things that we want to have, and we want to build this in early. You all know that we need to build in quality when we're building software. We all know we need to build in quality when we're building our solution or software or other, right? However, what I want to talk about today is beyond just the software. What I would like to talk about is something that I'm seeing more and more coming up. And that is a lack of understanding that quality spans beyond just the realm of software delivery. What do I mean by that? Well, let's just have a look at that, right? So any large agile program of any appreciable size is likely to have vendors and third-party suppliers. What are your commercials and your contracts that you have? What kind of clauses and behaviors is that driving? Charlie Munger had a famous quote where he actually says, show me the incentive and I will show you the outcome. And what I'm seeing now is a lot of contracts that are out there at the moment, they're very delivery focused. You want to deliver this, and what they optimize for is speed of delivery, okay? Not quality of delivery. And that's causing a lot of problems. So we want to make sure that our commercials incentivize not just speed of delivery, but also the quality of those deliverables as well. The second thing I want to talk to you about is the resources. So what I mean by that is that we want to make sure that the resources that we have the skills in place with the testing and the quality background. And we also want to make sure that where we've got the correct ratio of quality focused, oriented staff to other staff that are also working. Of course, quality is everybody's responsibility, but on a team you may have some people that are specifically focusing more on that as well. And then the third thing I want to talk to you about is the vendors. When vendors or third-party suppliers come in, and you will, as I said, require this probably for a train of any appreciable size, it's really important that they don't default to the common behavior of just setting up a vendor-based team. Because whilst that's the easiest and most expedient thing to actually do, it is death to the flow of value. Okay, we want to make sure we have a cross-functional team. Try to rally against the natural tendency for vendors to sit with, let's just call it their own, right? And we want to try and create cross-functional teams with all the different skills and resources and help that we actually need to actually optimize the flow of value as well. Okay, now number 3. And this is something that I've not recommended before, right? So once you have your foundations in place, you've got your quality in place, right? You've got your foundations in place, right? Now, what in the past, what I have recommended is you just launch the trend. You might have 5-10 teams just launching in very quick succession or even in parallel, okay? I no longer recommend that. I'm starting to recognize and view the waste that actually results in. What I'm now recommending is that you scale up one team at a time. You take one team, they've proven themselves that they're able to use the organizational resources, they're able to tap into those well efficiently and effectively. You've got your foundations in place, you've got your quality set up correctly. The team is able to deliver meaningful value in a timely fashion of good quality. And now you say, good, thumbs up. Let's get the next one in place. And then once they're able to present and to show the value they're able to deliver, you scale up one after the next. Now what's going to happen is that after a certain point, you're going to come to a pinch point in your resources. It's either going to be a technology pinch point, it's going to be a human resources. You might have a lack of skills of certain key individuals that need to support multiple teams, or you will have some other organizational constraint over there. The important thing is you don't just keep scaling on past that, because what actually happens then is you start to create suboptimal agile release train, and that's not what we want to do. You want to pause there, you want to resolve the issue, and if you're able to do that, then you can scale up further. If not, I recommend you just stop over there, and then that is your optimal train size over there. Okay, so there you have it, those 3 things. These are the 3 must-haves you must have for launching a successful agile release train. I hope you found that useful. What do you think? Have I missed something off? Maybe I have. Can you put that in the comments below? What's your experience with that? Do you have any questions? also put those down in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you. I hope you found that useful. If so, please do subscribe to this channel and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks very much. Goodbye.